everyone. This is another lovely Friday morning. And once again, you've got myself, Adrian, the career strategist, CEO, founder of Career Agility International. And we have Yen. Good morning, Yen. How are you?
Good morning. I'm so happy it's a Friday again. It seems I keep saying that, but I truly am happy that the week is
It
over.
flies,
This
doesn't
has
it? I
been
mean,
a,
it's like just last
it's not
week.
just the time, not just the time flying. It's just been such a long and long busy week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very, very excited. We have this brand new office right now. I want to tell our listeners about our brand new office.
Oh, yeah, we upgraded our office. Unfortunately, I'm not in the office right now because it's Friday morning. I'm recording from home. But we're going to send some videos over. Just watch for it on LinkedIn. And for those of you who just joined us, once again, my name is Adrian. I'm the CEO, founder of Career Agility International. And Yen is our executive director and also our co-founder and one of the top coaches in Singapore, if not the best. Okay, so
Thanks. Thank you.
we've been running Career Agility for the past 5 years. Time flies, doesn't it?
It does, it does. And one of the things that we want to do always, and that's the reason for the show, is to share some wisdom and to remind people, our listeners, how to look after their careers and so many different topics, right? And today we have something very exciting to share.
Yeah, and especially because it concerns career longevity and career sustainability. We always think of our careers as 40-year blocks. I mean, it's a whole 40-year journey that we're looking at. And it's a marathon rather than a sprint, isn't it? And if you're not watching yourself, if you're burning out too early, if you're not taking care of yourself, you won't be
Yeah.
able to run the good race.
Yeah, you're no good to anyone if you are not well. Just like the analogy that you like to use, Adrian, the one about the aeroplane. So if there's cabin depressurization, the yellow things fall off from the ceiling, who do you look after first, yourself or your child, right?
Yeah.
You always put the mask on yourself first so that you can help other people. Because if you faint, you're no use to
You're
anyone.
not used to
And the
anyone.
same with your career.
Yeah.
So the same with your career. You want to look after yourself so that you can be at your best.
Yeah, and that's why today we actually have a very wonderful special guest, and she is here to advise us on how we can run a good race, how we can take care of our wellness, so that we have enough energy to power our career along. Yan, do you want to tell us a little bit more about her? Let me pull up her profile on over here, and let's have a talk. Okay, so tell me more about Pooja.
Yeah, so our special guest is Pooja Vik. She has been in her background's in microbiology, but she has been practicing functional nutrition in Singapore for more than 12 years. Last count, I think she's impacted over 3,500 lives, and I've always been very amazed. She's also someone I consulted with for a minor health issue. So I'm very grateful to her, which is why I wanted to invite her to be a guest on our program so that we can talk about our general wellness in order to improve our career game. So without further ado, let's welcome Pooja in.
Yeah, let's have Pooja in. Okay, I'm looking forward to having this conversation with her. Hi, good morning, Pooja. How are you? Let's wait for her to come on board. Okay. Hi, Pooja. Good morning. How are you? Glad to have you join our program.
Thank you very much. Really excited to be here.
I'm so grateful you took the time to share with us, Pooja. There's so much that I've learned from you, and with every conversation I have with you, I've always come away with extra insights and just, I guess, I feel so much better because I'm in more control.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say.
Thank
you so much.
Ever since Yen started consulting with you, she's been telling us all the wonderful things about how her life has improved health-wise and how much weight she's lost. It's been wonderful. And I'm wondering, what exactly do you do? So Pooja, could you introduce yourself to us and tell us what do you do, and how can you help executives like ourselves to become more effective at our work?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So I run the nutrition clinic. I've been doing this for about 12 years since I started the nutrition clinic. We started at Camden Medical Center. We then moved to a beautiful shop house in Tanjong Pagar. And now we are actually largely on Zoom. It's been an incredible platform for us that obviously we shifted during the COVID years. And it's an incredible way for us to reach more people. I do see people face to face as well, but most of my clients see me on Zoom. And what I really do is try to understand what's going on beneath the symptoms. we get stuck on symptoms, obviously, right? We don't want to feel a certain way. We want to feel a certain way. And that can be low energy, bloating, I can't sleep well. These are very common symptoms. And each of these symptoms could have multiple reasons behind it. So bloating can be linked to so many different things. And so what I do is really looking at the body as a system and looking at how do we unpack what's really going on to create the symptoms that you have. And so it is very broad, but it's also very structured, because I do like to divide the work I do into different systems, and it's super structured, super processed, but at the same time you get this wide variety of information about your body. So it's a lot of fun. It's a really interesting journey that my clients go on.
That's great, because I think what you've just expressed is also written on your website, which explains everything much better. Has got how you have a system or a process to help your clients achieve some kind of wellness goal.
Absolutely.
That's your practice, isn't it?
That's right.
To
That's
focus on the underlying nutritional, I guess, micro changes. You know, there's one phrase that I really like that you use a lot. How do you regain your energy and your focus without extreme lifestyle changes? I love
You
that
have to
phrase.
define what's an extreme lifestyle change.
So you love the last bit, right? The without extreme. That's the bit that you love. Yes.
What's an extreme lifestyle change?
Oh my God, there's so many of them. Honestly, all you have to do is go online, and we all know that whatever's happening online needs to get louder to get attention. So if you're not doing a 3-day fast, you're not really fasting, which is an extreme, right? So I think people are exposed to a lot of really extreme ideas around wellness. They include things like extreme fasting, extreme exercise. And I think there is a lot of trouble with just jumping on one of these programs. I do think that I see a lot of what I call keto recoverers or fasting recoverers in the clinic. And there's nothing wrong with a keto diet. There's nothing wrong with fasting. But if it's not done by the right person at the right time, then that can be problematic.
So tell me, okay, what is wellness? Does it mean always? Because a lot of people mistake wellness for just weight loss. So I'm going for nutrition. No, for a diet just for weight. What is wellness to you?
So wellness to me really comes back to the why, right? Why do I wake up every day and pay attention to my food, my movement, my lifestyle? Why do I do it? I do it purely for the people in my life. Wow. Right? And that's what got me into this. I became interested in my body because I was having difficulty with fertility. And I knew that I had to change something. And it was a huge experiment. At 35, I told my doctor that I'm not going to try. I know you're there, and if I need you, trust me, I'm going to knock on the door, but I want to try something on my own. I knew something was fundamentally not right. I was having symptoms that weren't making sense. I was losing hair. I had IBS. I was feeling really tired. I was actually, now I know I was completely burnt out, but and then on top of that, I had this great idea, let's have a child, right? The body has wisdom, and it probably thought, no, this is not going to work, right? So I needed to heal that underlying issue. And so that's how I became interested in this. It was an experiment I did on myself. I ordered books because the stuff wasn't available online, and it worked. It took time. It worked. At 38, I got pregnant. I had my daughter. And I said 2 babies were born, right? So one was my daughter and one was the nutrition clinic, because it cemented this belief that the body has wisdom and we really need to give it what it needs and get out of the way when it's trying to heal itself. And so wellness for me is that. Wellness for me is being able to live the life that you want to live for the people you want to live it for, or for yourself to achieve the goals you want to achieve. So it's way beyond weight loss. It's actually way beyond the cosmetic. Cosmetic is to me a byproduct of getting better, but it's not typically the reason people knock on the door. They might think they're knocking on the door for that reason, but that's not typically the reason.
That is so true, because I consulted you for some completely different symptoms. It was entirely different. It was food sensitivities that was causing all these other feelings that were uncomfortable. And it was impacting my work, because you're right, I was fatigued, grumpy, Maybe there was some other hormonal imbalance. Of course, I don't know if Adrian was
TMI,
maybe
TMI.
getting the brunt of it because I'm so prickly, right?
No, but I think that's interesting because all these physical symptoms sometimes are a result of diet, sometimes it's a result of lifestyle, of work, and work being a big part of lifestyle. And that's why we wanted you on our show today because, you know, as I was saying earlier off the air, that our career is a marathon and sometimes you have to take care of your body as though you were an elite athlete. If you want to succeed in your very long-term career. So that's why someone like yourself, you know, from the nutrition clinic, someone who believes in wellness, and wellness not just via exercise alone, but what goes into your system, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, you know, I started out with nutrition, and that's why we're called the Nutrition Clinic, but we have expanded to look at lifestyle because it isn't, you could have the perfect diet, but if you're not sleeping well, and if you're running that marathon without enough breaks for yourself, you're going to burn out. And that perfect, you know, salad with avocado and salmon is not going to save you, right?
Extreme, that's extreme behavior, right? Just...
So, but you know, on the other hand, if you do all of those things and your diet's crap, that's not going to work either. So it is really holding these separate concepts in place. And the work I do really tries to get to, well, what do you need to focus on? So I spoke to somebody this morning whose diet was really good, sleeps really good. She actually meditates, you know, does a pretty intense form of yoga and meditation. But there was something going on in the gut, right? So there's an imbalance of flora in the gut, and that was what was wearing her down. Now, if we didn't know that, I would look at this person and say, you know, they're actually ticking most of the boxes, but we need to get to that deeper level of saying, is there something else going on that's putting a burden on the body? And it's really about creating balance and fixing. So, you know, it's about just saying, this is a burden on the body, let's get it into better balance. Or this is a food like gluten that your body is not really enjoying, it's not serving you well, let's take it out and get out of the way and see if the body then feels better. Right. So a lot of that work is around rebalancing. It's like a puzzle. It's like figuring out that jigsaw puzzle that is your body, and the pieces will be different for different people, even in the same family.
Yeah, and everything you were just saying is exactly what I think a lot of our clients are facing, the burnout. But the burnout could stem from multiple sources. It could be a toxic environment, and then it's just a mental. It's not just it becomes a mental stress as opposed to a dietary stress or bad habits.
So it's basically just not just a result from external stresses, but internal stressors as well, right?
Absolutely. And the internal and the external obviously feed on each other, right? So there is something called this gut-brain connection. So whatever's happening in your gut affects the brain and vice versa. So you might think that, okay, I'm not stressed, I'm not overworked, I take my breaks, I'm, you know, go on vacations. But if something's going on in the gut, that's still stressful for your body. So you could be sitting on a beautiful beach in Langkawi, but if you've got that festering, that's still stressful for the body.
Absolutely. And I was just thinking about how much noise there is online. We were just talking about that earlier, about the fads and the trends. And I had a relative who went extreme keto, and he was even weighing out the number of asparagus stalks that he had to consume at some point. I don't think it was sustainable. And then you hear all sorts of fads, paleo, vegan, and then there's supplements. I'm a big believer in supplements. I know, Adrian, you're not, right? You're not a big believer in supplements?
No, not really that big, but I do try I do try my best to have a balanced diet and exercise, but it's more the discipline issue that for me. So it's, you know, it's a consistency and a discipline issue that gets to me. And a lot of our clients are always saying that, but I got no time for the exercise. I got no time to do this. I mean, it's like I've got no time to look for a poke bowl every other day, you know, because of the nutrition. So
and it's expensive too.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Pooja, in terms of I've got no time and, you know, it's expensive?
Right. So a few points. Number one, let's talk about the extreme diet, because I think people go to the extreme thinking I have no time, so let me just follow a process. And maybe that's, I think it's just human nature. If that's a shortcut, then I want to go there. And for some people, it might work. You know, you do vegan, you do keto, paleo, it might work. But for many people, you might actually be creating more imbalances, especially if it's an extreme, right? So you spend the time, you spend the money, and you may not be better off. That's number one. Number two is, if you're not feeling great, and this is really a deep belief of mine, if you're not feeling great, you're actually consuming a lot of time just not feeling great, right? If your energy is better, if your digestion is better, if your sleep is better, if your mood is better, let's be honest, you're going to be more efficient, right? And it is about that. It is not about, to me, it's not about, can I just keep doing the same amount of work and just keep putting in the hours? Isn't it about results? Isn't it about what we deliver? And so if your brain's not functioning well, it doesn't matter, right? It's a lie to say I don't have time, because you know that you could be functioning at a better level, which saves you time. And we also need to really own our own personal time. And I'm going to be honest, that's not always easy for me. Like, days and weeks get busy. But if you don't own that personal time, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this at all, right? And I think that even starts with children. I have a 14-year-old daughter. Everything in our society is always telling us do more, achieve more, which is fantastic. But in order to do that, you sometimes need to pull back. You need to learn to listen to your body. You need to say that if I need a break, it's not weakness, it's not laziness, it's not a cop-out, it's my body needs this. And maybe the question should be, well, why does my body need it? Rather than to judge yourself and to feel ashamed of needing that break, maybe we need to have this curious mindset and say, you know what? I am tired. What's going on? When I'm tired, I don't sleep well. What's going on? When I'm tired, I crave sugar. What's going on? I think you have to start asking these questions. Because sugar. Because I think that's the important thing, right? I think that's super important. And I think it has to start, I think it's a life skill that has to start with the youth.
So I
like that.
I have a question for you, Pooja. So for someone who's feeling low energy all the time, okay, because a lot of the energy is being put into work, and especially if you're it's a very physical type of work where you're running around or flying around a lot, or it's a very mental kind of work where you're using just so much brain power, at the end of the day you're zapped. What are maybe 3 things you can recommend to someone who's always feeling drained?
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is there could be many reasons you're feeling low on energy, right? So there's one kind of low energy, which is just a nervous system burnout. And that basically means that you've just been pushing too hard. And we have a nervous system that can either be in a fight and flight zone, or it can be in rest and digest. If we spend way too much time in fight flight, so think about a day that starts with messages, rushing to work, kids, you just keep going all the way and then you crash. That's being in fight flight way too much. And then let's not also forget that if you're constantly speaking to yourself in a negative way, that's also affecting fight flight. So that's one kind of energy depletion. And that's what most people think of as burnout, right? Nervous system is just exhausted. I've had clients get to the point where they're no longer able to exercise because they're so tired. Right. And you can get tired and wired, which means you're exhausted and then not able to sleep, and you get into this cycle, right? That's one kind of low energy. The other kind of low energy can come simply because you're deficient in certain nutrients. If you're low on iron, low on certain B vitamins, you're going to be tired, right? That's just more perhaps a simpler answer. You can be low on energy because you're actually low on mood. You're not producing the happy chemicals in the brain that we need to produce, the neurotransmitters. So if you're low on serotonin, your motivation and mood is going to be low. You can be low on energy because your gut's not functioning well. We have this population of microbes in the gut, and if they're off balance, that can create certain chemicals that affect the brain. So that could be one of the reasons. So the short answer is I don't have exactly 3 things, but I'll give you some starting points. I would say the most important thing we need to look at is, are we eating to support healthy blood sugar or not? Are we eating, and look, the diets that most people follow are way too high in carbohydrates for the amount of exercise they're doing. So if your diet is low in veg, low in protein, low in healthy fat, but really high in carbohydrates, just think about a bowl of noodles. Think about a typical day. It can start with
It just-
cereal, noodles, something
Sugar.
sweet in between, and then something
Sugar.
similar. Yeah. Sugar, right? You're
And
going
more
to be on a
sugar.
sugar roller coaster. That's going to create exhaustion. So before we do anything else, we have to clean up that diet.
Yeah, and sometimes I was just thinking as I was listening to you, how our systems don't agree with one another, because what my mouth wants does not agree with what my tummy wants.
Yes.
And then
yes,
my brain
yes.
is going, oh, come on, you deserve
Exactly,
it.
exactly.
So
And
the
what
brain,
yes, exactly. So the mouth may want, and that's habit as well, right? It's not just, food isn't just
Yeah.
nutrition. It's about habit and family and festivals and all of that. But the one thing I do find is when somebody starts just eating in a way to balance blood sugar, and that's something, we do, that's the foundational work we do with everybody. Cravings do get better very, very quickly. The first 3 days, yes, it's challenging. I think the biggest challenge is not knowing what to do. Like, okay, if I'm not eating this, then what do I eat? How do I eat out at a food court? How do I eat out, because the rest of my family wants to eat a certain way? And we help people, I mean, short of, just going for fast food every day, I can't help you with that till you give that up. But you can eat out at a food court. You can eat out at a restaurant. You can do some simple cooking at home, order meals. There is always a way to eat better if you want to. And I think our resources in Singapore have really, really improved. Just the fact that there's a salad bar now in every supermarket or most supermarkets makes it easy. It's affordable. It's easy.
But healthy food is expensive, isn't it?
So
it's an investment you got to put in. But
it is more. It is going to cost you more. But I think falling sick is very expensive. Number one. And I'm not saying that as like a threat that if you don't eat well, you will fall sick.
But it's the fact of life, right? It is
the fact
yeah,
of life.
and I think it's the same
sorry.
message that we give our clients all the time. It's like, look after your health, look after your career. Don't wait until it rains to fix your roof, because by then it's going to be really expensive.
It's going to be expensive.
Exactly.
It's painful. And I come back to that same why. At that time, it's not just painful for you. It's painful for everybody around you, right?
Yeah.
So there is a cost. And even the cost of, even if you don't get to that, I know that's a fear that a lot of people have deep down inside, but even on a daily basis, isn't feeling not good. There are people who feel, so the line I use is, if you're hit by a bus, go see a doctor for sure, go to the emergency room. If you feel like you've been hit by a bus and you haven't, come and see me, because isn't it costing you to not feel great? Isn't it costing you to not wake up with energy, to not be able to really hang out with your kids and be there mentally? Isn't it costing your marriage? Isn't it costing some part of your life?
Absolutely. And that fits right into what I was wanting to ask you, because earlier you said about we don't know where to start. Sometimes we know that there's something that's not right, but we don't know where to start. And one of the things that we always talk about is go seek professional help, go find out a little bit more. But there's a lot of noise online, isn't there?
There is a lot.
Maybe you can give us some advice on how we can filter out some of these noises. Like, how do we know? Because like you said earlier, when we look at content online, it's got to be sensational, then only it catches my attention.
Absolutely.
So I'm seeing some of these advertisements and quizzes about how you can lose belly fat just by drinking this special tea, for instance. And I'm very drawn to it, and I'm very tempted because, like you said, it's an easy way out. How do we filter?
So number one, there isn't a magic bullet. Nobody has it. I don't have it. There's no magic bullet, right? There's no one tea, one pill. I believe in supplements as well, but there is no magic bullet even with supplements. So when I give supplement recommendations, again, I'm asking, why am I supplementing? What are we trying to do that is not being done? What are we repairing that is hard for the body to repair? Only then do I supplement. So the first time a person sees me, I'm not talking about supplements, because we can't supplement till we know more. I also say, it's always a good idea to get a medical checkup first, just to rule out anything medical. So my practice is very much an integrative mindset. I don't believe there's only one way. I have thoughts, I have opinions, I have a system. It works well, but it's always good to know, is there anything going on medically? So just start with that so that you know, and if you've done that, if everything's good, still not feeling great, the way we work is we always start with food. We start by cleaning up the diet, but making it doable. So we don't hold this perfect diet above our client's head saying you have to reach there. It's about meeting you where you're at. And if all you can do is have a celery juice in addition to your lunch every day, it's a great start. If all you can do is drop that dessert, maybe have a piece of fruit, it's a great start. But the other thing we do at that first appointment that I have with clients is I introduce them to certain assessments that I can run. So I can assess food sensitivities, as you know, but I can also assess what's going on with the gut microbiome. Are there deficiencies in the body? Are you producing the neurotransmitters, the brain chemicals that you should be producing? Do you have enough nutrients to feed the mitochondria, which is the battery of your cell? So we can gather all this information. And I'll tell you, once we have information, motivation sits on top of it. I don't think it's, once you know, oh, this is happening in my body, I have clients saying to me, okay, tell me what to do next. And I think switching that around is really powerful because it's coming from, I know something is off balance and I want to fix it, rather than somebody just talking to you and saying, you must do this because I say so. So it's never a because I say so. It's always, well, what do you want to achieve? This is what I can share with you about where you're at. And this is what we can do. And that process is very, very structured, very sequential, because I believe in small changes that add up together. So we are stacking changes. I'm not taking a person from 0 to 100 in day one, and that's not going to work. And that's the issue I have with diets, with strict diets. That's 0 to 100, 3 weeks. But then what? What happens the day after? Right? You just go back to
right. You're so right, because one of the things that I was focused on was trying to get that information so I knew what to do, because I didn't want to waste time on experiments that didn't work.
It's hard to filter. There's just too much noise in the market, right? There's just too much noise in the market.
And it's really important that you seek a professional opinion, because then you don't have to reinvent the wheel by yourself.
Exactly.
And so I'm so happy to meet you.
And sometimes the advice you get works for one person, doesn't work for the other person. It's just like career advice. No? It's not a cookie cutter kind of thing where you stay in your job. So like just yesterday, I was asked by a journalist, how long should you stay in a job? And there's no answer to that. It's no, how long is a piece of string, right? It's like, I can't answer that. How long should you, so many extenuating circumstances. That's why you need to have a one-on-one session with someone like yourself, Pooja, who's going to sit down. And you know what I like about your system? It's scientific. It's based on the test that you do. It's data-driven. And it's not just mumbo jumbo, hey, eat more fruits, or here's a handful of vitamins kind of thing, you see. So I think that's what I find that's really, really interesting.
Thank you. I really
I really like the point that you're saying. So get the checkup as well. At least do it regularly enough. And I think a lot of us are also making the excuse, I'm too busy for my checkup. Also, because we don't want to be on the other end of a doctor's glove, because that's not pleasant at all. So yeah, I get that. But yes, sometimes in order to maintain our systems, like cars, we should go for regular servicing and pay attention to it, because otherwise we don't run at our optimal pace. Love that.
So I
am taking notes, by the way.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Pooja. So typically an individual and executive who may not have any major health issues, but just wants to fine tune, how many visits does it take to your clinic for him to figure and sort things out?
So we do work with people, and actually I really enjoy working with people who just want to optimize. There's actually a community of biohackers who are just really interested in getting
what's a biohacker?
A biohacker is somebody who's just interested in hacking their biology to optimize their biology. So they will come in wearing what I've got here, which is called an Oura Ring, which tracks my sleep pattern. So they will come in with the Apple Watch, the Oura Ring, the blood sugar monitor. They're already quite motivated, and they come in. You've got that, yes. They've been able to get everything that's available outside. What they want is to take all this data and make it relevant and really personalize it. And I get additional data for them. So that would typically take about 3 appointments, 3 months, 3 to 4 months would be typical. Most of my tests take about a month for the results to come in. And in that first month, the first month is always, let's just do an experiment of changing your food and see what happens, right? So let's just, and I like, the work I do is really a series of experiments, because how a person responds, not just physiologically, but also psychologically to the changes we make becomes really important. So every appointment is really collaborative. It's not me telling you, oh, this is what's wrong, this is what you need to do. It's really, okay, how are you feeling? We track symptoms on a monthly basis because we want to know from your symptoms, are you getting better? We made this change and look what happened, right? You made a change to your sleep. And guess what? Your digestion got better. There's a connection there. And so the work we do is also helping you form this understanding of the connectivity in your body. It's really educational and informative, because if you don't understand it, it's just, again, a series of supplements or a series of food plans. But this is more a dialogue, a conversation, back and forth, saying, we changed this, you tell me what happened. Oh, let's observe, this is what's happened. That creates compliance. Because once you know that, if I don't sleep, I'm going to get bloated, even though that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, right? Initially, once you start saying, oh, the reason my sleep affects my digestion is because of this, this, and this, compliance is no longer an issue, because it's based on knowledge and education.
Yes. Love that. And there's so many parallels to the work that we do as well at Career Agility, because
Actually,
we
right?
also like working with clients to unravel their issues and adopt different mindset shifts, which again will never happen overnight. It takes time to layer on that attitude change, if you will, learning to say no, learning to draw boundaries, learning to manage, navigate the minefield of political sensitivities at work, things like that. We also love working with clients who want to optimize, because they're motivated already.
So I have a terrible question to ask you, Pooja. Okay. So if I want to go for weight loss, okay, I know a friend. Who's going for the fastest weight loss ever. Okay, fastest, healthiest weight. What would you recommend? Intermittent fasting, taping a mouth shut? No idea. What would you recommend of someone who wants to lose weight fast in the healthiest fashion?
Many people lose some weight just cleaning up the diet, right? Just eating like I described, making sure the refined carbohydrates are out, blood sugar is more balanced, you've got some protein, you've got some lot more fiber. I would say protein, fiber is really important, and then carbohydrates would be added in small amounts depending on how much activity they have. That would be step one. If I almost think of it as stacking different things, that would be the first stack. The second stack would be to then look at what else is going on. And the first thing that I will look at is stress and sleep. Because if you're burnt out, if your nervous system is just completely burnt out and you do anything to an extreme, it's going to get worse, right? So think about intermittent fasting, think about keto diets. And as I said, these are great strategies as long as you don't fall into this category of being extremely burnt out. So the first thing I would do is clean up the diet and then say, let's look at this. Let's look at whether you're in burnout. And if you're in burnout, we need to deal with that first. Because if you don't deal with that, you're constantly going to feel like, I have to eat even less. I have to exercise even more. Right? It's like you're pushing the body. You're saying to the body, come on, just what else can we cut out in order for you to lose this weight? And the body's saying, hang on, I'm burnt out, and I'm burnt out because I believe life is not feeling safe. Why in the world will I not hold on to everything? Right? So yes, on one level, going lower carb is definitely the right direction.
Okay, so lowering carb is a good idea.
Lowering carb is a good idea. I think it works for most people up to a point. Now, there are certain people where it doesn't work well. It doesn't work well if you are in that perimenopause stage of life or menopause. Lowering carb may not be enough. And that's when we may have to look at the nervous system. And it simply doesn't work for some people because their metabolism has been damaged by extreme diets. So every time you do anything to an extreme and you're not really paying attention to recovery, you might be shooting your nervous system again and again and again, leading to this situation where the body says, I don't want to lose weight. In fact, I just want to hold on to more.
Oh no! So let me ask you another a rather controversial question. Okay, detox.
Mhm.
Okay, mumbo jumbo or real? For instance, you hear coffee
Yeah.
enema, you hear colonic cleanse, you hear all this. Okay,
juice,
so
juice fasting.
yeah,
Juice
what's your
fasting.
professional take on detox?
So there's nothing wrong with having a juice, having a vegetable juice. No problem.
But vegetable juice down the right end is correct,
Yeah, just
Some
drinking
people-
vegetable juice is
No,
fine.
but some people do the colonic cleanse on the other end of it.
Yeah. So look, detoxification is something your body does. You don't buy it in a packet. There's no detox in a box, as far as
No.
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You have to support detoxification. So one of the tests that we run actually looks at how well is your body detoxifying. Because we're talking about cellular detoxification. We're looking at, is your liver just able to do its job, or is something getting in the way? Is it low on a nutrient? Is something getting in the way? I think, I do feel these kind of quick fix detoxes. No, I don't agree with them. So for me, I don't even use the word detox. I use the word detoxification because that's a process. It's not a product.
Yeah.
Right, so detox is not a
Yeah.
product; it's a process,
So
and it's about supporting your body.
And it's
through.
scientific. It's like you're doing a liver function test to make sure everything's okay, I guess, rather than I know I
Just
heard
go
this
on
thing
a
about
1 week.
I heard about this coffee enema thing, and they said, "Oh, I've lost like 5 kilos," and I said, "Oh goodness, it's like
No.
I don't know.
That sounds awful. And
I don't know.
yeah, so back to
sad.
Adrian's controversial question. Adrian had a controversial question about the friend. And so this friend likes doing extreme long distance cycling once a week.
Mhm.
And I keep telling this friend, when you go on these long extremes, he then injures himself and occasionally hurts himself, and then or he aches for a while, and then he complains because he takes it out on his colleagues. That said, my question is, weekend warrior versus regular movement throughout the week.
Definitely,
Can
definitely.
you give advice to this friend?
Definitely regular movement throughout the week. I also think that, again, coming back to the nervous system, if you're in the same way that an extreme diet or extreme fasting can hurt the nervous system, if your nervous system isn't in the best place, which means sleep, energy, all of that isn't taken care of, then extreme exercise can do the same. Right? So you want your exercise to not be more than 45 minutes to an hour. You want to be able to, I think pushing yourself in that time matters, but short, sharp. So the whole interest in high intensity interval training is the right way of thinking. It's giving your body short, sharp stressors and then allowing it to recover. And that's a concept called hormesis. Hormesis is I'm gonna create situations of stress, because we're not fragile beings. Stress is a healthy and natural part of life. Short periods of stress followed by recovery. So HIIT training, even cold water or cold ice therapy, ice exposure is that. Fasting is that as well. So all of these are foundationally very sound as long as your nervous system can take it.
Right.
So
Okay.
cold water treatment.
So I
Tell me
hope
what's cold water treatment? Hang on a while. Yeah.
Have you heard of
It's what you do when you jump into a bathtub full of ice cubes.
that's what Chris Hemsworth does when they
right.
are into getting fit and getting healthy and getting strong. A lot of them jump into an ice bath. The athletes do that as well.
That's
yeah.
right.
They kind of shock the
So
system.
5 a.m. in the morning, I just go down and jump into my pool.
Yeah.
no,
And
this is ice.
do not go on.
Oh, that's ice.
like,
Oh no.
ice.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, a little bit of nagging here. Whenever our friend flexes about his long distance cycles, right? He flexes to the colleagues that he did a 5-6 hour cycling thing and returns home at what time? Some ungodly hour. Like, are you
Maybe
sure
too
this
long.
is the right thing for you?
Okay, I'm a leisure cyclist, so I don't do the 30-kilometer-an-hour rides.
Okay,
So for me, I love the long rides. The only pain I complain about is being saddle sore. Okay, but it's one of those cycling is one of those exercises where you don't push yourself if you don't want to. If it's going down slope, then you just chill. If it's going up slope, you just relax. Just go it slow. So you're in control, especially if you ride alone. But I do understand what you're saying about extremes. And it doesn't work. It's just like It's just a matter of being consistent and regular. What's what I'm hearing from you, rather than just going all out and just gunning it and hoping. It's like going on a diet on a weekend.
Exactly.
On a weekday, you just go eat all the burgers and everything. It doesn't work that way, right?
Exactly. So your 5 to 6 hours sounds, it might actually be really good because you're outdoors, you're being exposed to nature, and you're not pushing yourself. So this might be a way of relaxation rather than
As long
exercise.
as long as you're not grumpy back to work on Monday. Thank you very much. Just saying. So Pooja, I want to ask about something that our clients are constantly raising, and something that I also ask once in a while when I sense that the person who's come to us for help is not at his or her best. We always ask about how they're sleeping. And I think it's a really it's a very telling symptom as to where they are on the burnout meter.
Yes.
Mm.
What advice do you have to help someone improve on their sleep?
Yep, great question. Something I do a lot of work with. Some really basics that can be done. First, it's important to know that how you sleep, of course, affects how you wake up, but how you wake up also affects sleep. At the end of the day, right? So you want to wake up, and when you wake up, you want to have high energy. That's the time one of the stress hormones called cortisol needs to go up. That's the time when you need that up, go, exercise, move, get some sun exposure. So if possible, get some sun exposure in the morning, because that wakes you up the right way. Then through the day, food, everything we talked about matters, because if your blood sugars are going up and down, if you're on the sugar roller coaster, that's going to impact your sleep as well. Not necessarily falling asleep, but people with that sort of profile tend to wake up in the middle of the night. So that's something to, just on a very foundational level, that's what you start with. Then there are a few tips that can be implemented. Number one, caffeine. If you drink caffeine after 2 p.m., it's possible that that's hurting your sleep. If you are sleeping in a room with any light, so your room should be dark, cool, like a cave. If there's any light, if there's any noise, that's going to affect the production of melatonin. You want to switch off the devices before you sleep. You want to have
isn't it?
digital free time before you sleep. That definitely makes a difference. Or put the night mode on so that at least the blue light is controlled. You want to, a lot of people benefit from taking things like magnesium to help them sleep. So magnesium, there's a particular form of magnesium which is really good for sleep support. It's non-drowsy. You just get into deeper sleep.
What magnesium is that?
It's called Neuromag. It's magnesium thiourate. It's a form of magnesium that really works for nervous system calming and sleep support.
Okay.
So that's a great tip to add on. Kind of digging a little deeper, if somebody's dealing with a gut-related issue, that can also wake you up in the middle of the night. So if you're waking up between 3 and 5 and it's a pattern, then something else is going on to typically wake you up, right? And it's not just the way the body is meant to be. You should not be waking up consistently at that time. If you wake up to go to the bathroom and are able to fall asleep, that doesn't count. That's fine, right? Okay. So I think these are some of the basics to look into. I think the big thing for what I see with my clients is everybody's using TV or a screen to relax.
That's the worst.
Honestly, before you know it, it's late, right? And ideally, you'd want to be asleep by 11 p.m.
11 p.m. See, so this is just to share, right? My husband has the opposite cycle than I do. He sleeps very, very late, and I'm out, but he would come home and then he'd have his phone on, and I wake up.
Yes.
It's so light pollution is a thing. It is. And of course I am guilty of sleeping with the devices, as we all are.
Look, we all are, right? We all are. They are very enticing and addictive. So I think it's just, again, reminding yourself, right? So the Oura Ring has been great for me because it actually tells me by 9:30 now you need to start winding down, because it's reminding me. And these reminders, these little tips really help. Because it is the culmination of small steps that matter. You get great sleep on the weekend, but the rest of the week is off. It's not going to work.
That's true.
And there is such little habits. I love that.
And I always believe that there's such a thing called a sleep debt. as well.
Yes.
You know, you don't sleep in the week on a weekday. You sleep on the weekend. You got to pay back, and you have to sleep that extra because you just need to sleep to regenerate and your
You do.
mental. Yeah, so you
But
just can't.
yeah, but you know, the way we are living, I think we need to regenerate every day.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's not like we're only working on the weekend as well, right? We're working
Yeah,
every
correct.
day,
Yeah,
and we're saying
exactly.
we're only going to sleep 2 days. That doesn't add up, right? So for the amount that we're
Yeah.
pushing ourselves, the amount that we're hearing negative stuff around us, you know, everything from work to the news to, you know, everything that's out there,
Everything.
we need
Yeah,
repair
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
We do need
yeah.
repair time.
It's an everyday thing, because even if I've been there, but I don't have that problem anymore. You know how you have sleep debt for the week, and then you sleep the whole of Sunday away, but by the time you get up, you're
I do
actually
that
more
too.
tired.
You get more
You're
tired.
more
You get more
tired.
tired. Yeah.
You wake up exhausted.
Yeah.
So I wake up at the same time every day, and I try to get to bed every night. But I do try to catch a little nap in the middle of the day
That's
once
great.
in a while.
That's great. Yes.
Power nap. It works, you know. Wow.
You
No,
know what? I love talking to you, Pooja. So I've got
Same
some
here.
notes. I've got the sugar, it's so many parallels to the work that you do and the work that we do. I feel so strongly that I think the work that we're all doing is
Yeah.
very meaningful, and ultimately our purpose here is to educate, so that people understand a little bit better on how to tune their engine. The engine needs to run. Yeah. If
So we
anything
can-
gets stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I can clearly see that people will be able to benefit just from having one conversation with you. You know, how can
Yes. Just
how can our
one.
listeners reach out to you?
So we're on social media. My website is thenutritionclinic.com.sg. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. If there's a way of sharing that information with the community through this, that'll be great.
Okay, we will.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way is to just, you know, go to our website. There's a form that you can fill up just with your questions. Reach out to us. Somebody will answer your question. So we get that a person may be at when a person calls us, they're at a certain stage of readiness, and we want to be able to know that we can meet them where they are, and know that they should know what we can do and what we can't do, so that, you know, that there's the expectations are set very early on. But we love having these conversations. We love having the conversations to engage with people. So don't hesitate to just reach out. Just find out more about what we do. Also, every Wednesday from 8 to 9, I make my Zoom available and I answer questions. I typically choose a topic and I just go into a little bit more about what we do. And so that's Wednesday night. So I was doing the same last night, and it's open to anybody who wishes to join.
Wow.
It's a
How
great
how do we get a link for that one? I mean, go to the website itself?
Yes, if you go to the website, there's a tab called Open Office, and if you just go there, you can sign up for it.
Ah, nice. So once again, the website is the nutritionclinic.com.sg, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can then get those recordings as well. Yes.
And there's a promo, Pooja. You want to tell us about that promo?
Yes. So with International Women's Day being this month, we have taken $80 off our first consultation. So instead of $280, we are charging $200 for the first consultation.
Is that only for women?
No, it's not only for women.
Well, yes.
It's International Women's Day, right? It's like
it is for men and women for the month of March. So we've not done anything like this before, but we really want to support our community. We believe that there is so much that we all can do for that sense of personal empowerment. And so reach out to us, see if we're the right fit for you, and we'd love to have you work with us.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, Pooja, with
Yeah.
your help, I've lost the stubborn weight. And it's been hanging around, and I'm adding 1 kilo every year for the last 3 years. It's gone. It's gone. I'm
last
very,
3 years
very
was
happy.
excusable, was COVID fat. So right now, no more excuses.
No more.
So see, that's the unhealthy, mental conversations that we have with ourselves.
Yes. The weight creep.
And it goes like, you'll be fine. I'll start tomorrow.
So, Pooja, do you have any last final words for our audience with regards to nutrition and health and wellness with regards to their career?
Yeah, so firstly, I would say thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been wonderful speaking to you. And you've mentioned a few times the parallels, right? The parallels between what you do and what we do. The one thing that I will say is, and I know easy to say this, sometimes harder to do. But what I see with a lot of my clients is that they're just really exhausted, often doing the work they're doing because it's either not the right environment, not the right fit, or it may be, but they're not able to say no. They're not able to put themselves first. So I would say, part of the work you do with careers and the work we do with nutrition and lifestyle is saying that I matter. My health matters, my career matters, my time matters, my wellness matters, my mental wellness matters. And I think just switching that around and saying it's not only about what everybody else wants. I put myself first. I would say that's the starting point. Once you get to that point, then the next steps, there's support for the next steps.
Fantastic.
Yes, I agree. Amen.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for your time today, Pooja. It's been
Thank
you
you
so much,
Wonderful
Pooja.
speaking
Once
to you.
again,
Thank you.
so once again, for all our viewers out there, the website is thenutritionclinic.com.sg. And I've been to the website. It's really user-friendly. It has very good information in there. There's a blog as well. And if you have any questions, you can just click on the button, which you can just reach out to Pooja and the team. And I'm sure they'll be very happy to respond to you. And thanks a lot, Pooja, for your time today.
Thank you. Lovely
Take care,
speaking
Pooja.
to you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I
Well,
love it.
That was wonderful. I feel like
It
I
was
really
good.
feel healthy talking to her. So it's
No,
gonna
you learn so much. When I asked about the sleep question, I mean, there was some very basic things that we have anyway, right? Like we know about the digital pollution.
Yeah.
But to highlight the fact that there's the sugar roller coaster that can impact sleep is something I never knew, and I'm like, whoa, I learn something new every time I talk to her.
Yeah, no more coffee anymore for anybody. So
I think you need to get off that. I don't know why you mentioned it like 3 times
no,
already.
because I just
Is it-
spoke to someone 2 weeks ago who told me that she lost
Okay.
weight because it's what the heck is coffee anymore? Starbucks is
No.
not gonna be happy when they hear you
No.
talk about that. But but it is interesting that in terms of your career, if you want to perform at
Yes.
the peak of your career, you have to perform at the peak of your health, the peak of your wellness,
Yes.
the physical wellness, which affects your mental
Yeah.
acuity as well. So if you want to be,
And
if you want to be an elite player, you have to have
everything.
an elite diet, you have the elite exercise plan, and staying healthy.
Elite sounds hard to reach. I like Pooja said, maybe just take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
But what she highlighted was also very interesting, how people tend to make excuses perhaps for their health, or they try fads, and you know how our clients are always coming to us, I just need a job. But there is something else that they're not addressing,
The
underlying all
yeah,
that, right? It's not
situation,
just
yeah.
a job, because when you change a job, it doesn't necessarily change your issues.
Exactly.
So I think
exactly.
that's also very relevant. So
Yeah.
many parallels. But
Amazing.
anyway, so to our
I'm gonna
listeners
start.
out there,
Yeah, I'm gonna send Pooja an email right now and set an appointment with her because I have so many questions as well.
So our listeners out there, I mean, if this was useful for you, please drop us a comment, and have a great weekend. Maybe time to start fine-tuning your own health engine.
Yeah, in the meantime, have a great weekend ahead.
TGIF.
TGIF, have a great Friday and a super weekend ahead. And the school holidays next week as well for those of us with kids.
Yeah,
Enjoy time
yes.
with your family, your kids, bring them out. And I know the weather is great and sunny nowadays, so just enjoy yourself, and don't forget, there's other things in your life other than your career. So
Yourself.
yeah, so keep calm and career on. Have a great one, guys. Take care, everyone. Bye.